What's up, everybody? Dead Girl here. Happy Wednesday. Wanted to give a huge shout out and thank you to Midnight Syndicate, to Ed and Gavin, for allowing us to use their music for our intro and outro. The song that you heard was off of one of my absolute favorite albums, Born of the Night. If you have not given it a listen to, head on over. I believe it's on Spotify. Check them out. If you're not familiar with Midnight Syndicate, crawl out of that hole you've been hiding in and check them out at www.midnightsyndicate.com. And joining me today is our special guest. She is a pastry chef. She is beautifully. She is talented. She's all these amazing things. Is Miss Stephanie Bertsos.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, girl, thank you. And okay, first of all, I'm a big fan of your baking goodness. I'm surprised my pant size has not grown larger than it is. So huge thank you for all of the wonderful bakes that you do. They're absolutely delicious and amazing.
Thank you.
So how did you get into, what started the whole baking thing? Like, how did you get into baking and, going and becoming a pastry chef?
Well, I've always had a sweet tooth, so that's number one. And number two, I watched a lot of baking shows and cake shows on Food Network growing up. So I really got into it, watching it, and I was like, you know what, I could do that too. So I tried my hand at it. I was always in art classes, so I did clay, some pottery classes. And I think later on that kind of translated to some of the fondant work that I do. Okay. So I feel like I've always been more, I would call myself an artist first, and my medium is food. So I think that's kind of what explains most what a pastry chef is. It's beautiful dessert, but it's also art at the same time.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have to give huge kudos and props to you, because I love baking shows. Like, they're my kryptonite. I will sit and I will watch them for hours on end. I am obsessed with the Great British Baking Show.
Yeah.
But I know better than to put myself in the kitchen, because no, cooking is not, I can cook some things, like if I can crock pot it and forget it, I'm good. But I am like deathly afraid to try the dessert thing or pastries or anything. So I'm so happy that you decided to go ahead and give it a go, and it's been fairly successful.
Yeah, baking is a science, and I think it's always like a fun experiment. Sometimes it turns out, sometimes it doesn't. But each one of my cakes is like an art project for me. So I look at it like that. So I really enjoy it. It's something that isn't just a job to me. I'm passionate about it. So I think that's what really makes it fun.
Now, okay, so when you're designing a cake, and I know, I'm kind of curious how the process kind of goes. Do you already have, I'm assuming you have in your mind like what you want to bake and how you want to do it. And just to kind of spinball one of these, you sent me some really cool pictures of some amazing cakes that you did. And there's a couple of them that I wanted to kind of have you just, if you don't mind, just kind of walk us through the process on that.
Yeah, of course.
And this is from probably a well-known show when I was a kid, when I was younger, is your Not to Mama cake, which I absolutely adore.
Yeah, he's super cute. Baby Sinclair. I took on each portion at a time: his head, his arms, his legs. His body is made of cake, and his head and his little appendages are made out of Rice Krispie treats covered in fondant. So you start at the base. I started working on the cake first, and then I worked on each of his little limbs, and I airbrushed them to get those little details in there. And even down to his eyes, I take a little paintbrush and I go in there, making sure I get every little detail. And I always have the picture up for reference if I'm, replicating some other art. I always pull it up and I always go back and reference that to try and make it look as close to the real thing as possible.
I mean, you got in there with the detail, with the lines in the hands, and then, of course, in the face and the legs, and then even that little speckle of light in the eyeballs.
His little fat rolls.
Yeah, his little fat rolls. So you went down in there and you got all that amazing detail in it. And I mean, was this for a client, or was this something that you were like, you know what, I'm making a cake, and that's the one I'm making?
Yeah, no, this was someone asked me to make this cake. It was for a baby shower, actually.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So, uh, whether somebody asks me for it or it's something that like I'm inspired by, like I love creepy themed stuff, spooky themed, obviously. And I really like tiki as well. So if it's either creepy or tiki, I really enjoy doing it. So I love when people give me creative freedom as well when it comes to cakes and design. So whether I'm replicating something or whether, I'm coming up with something in my own head, sometimes people send me pictures of things that's like their favorite, and I'll take that and create a design out of it.
Oh, okay. So sometimes they're just like, you know what, make it spooky, go.
Right? Yeah. And I really love that. I have, clients who have come back time and time again, and, they trust me. So they give me an idea of what they want, give me some, points to hit. And from there, I think it's really fun when you have the freedom, to use your own creativity and go for it. I think that's when you get the greatest results.
Absolutely. And you mentioned you're a fan of tiki.
Yes.
So I have to ask, you did it's like a tiki mug cake. So I just want to kind of show the folks that are hanging out with us.
Yes.
This is ridiculously detailed, and down to the ice and the cracks and crevices. Okay, so I need to ask, how long does something like that take with that much detail?
Well, it really depends. Sometimes you think that it's going to take you maybe an hour and it'll take you a couple of hours. It really depends. And sometimes I make some pieces ahead of time, like the ice is sugar. So I have elements made. And then when it comes down to the final details of the cake, sometimes it'll take me a couple hours, to finish all those details. But to me, that's my favorite part, is getting all those little details down and making sure that I have all those little things in there that make it look how it's supposed to. It's the little things that really set it apart from other cakes.
Absolutely. And I've got a couple of people in the chat chiming in, asking, they want to drink it. It does not look like a cake. It looks like it's got the straw, the bamboo straw. I could just go in and take a sip and feel refreshed. So it's amazingly beautiful. And if somebody's asking if there's a real cocktail in there, that would be something, wouldn't it?
The flavor was pineapple upside down cake.
Nice.
So it does have pineapples and it's a fruity filling in there. It's actually replicated off of Taboo Relics. He created the tiki mug that it's resembled after. So he did a beautiful job in creating the mug, and I just did my best I could to replicate his work as well.
I'm gonna have to go find the mug now, because
yeah,
that cake. I imagine that thing to be spot on.
Yeah, and I think a fun thing for me is the surprise when people ask me, is it real? Can I eat it? Is it edible? That's the biggest compliment for me, is when people don't even know it's cake. It looks that good.
And it looks that good. If I had walked by like a table and it was sitting on there, I'd have been like, oh, that looks delicious. Somebody left their drink. I would not have even think to go, is that cake? Let me get a knife.
Take a sip.
Right? Let me try to suck through that straw and get nothing, and then wonder what is going on.
You just bite off a piece of sugar.
Right? We're like, all right, wait a minute. But it's amazingly detailed. Now, do you have any types of favorite cakes that you've done, or any kind of cookie designs that maybe are your favorites?
So some of my favorites are when I get to do custom designs. Okay. So I made a cookie that looks exactly like my friend, and I surprised her with it for her birthday, and she was really happy about that. But also, if people ask me to make cookies or cakes or cake toppers that resemble their pets, I love that, trying to recreate, something that's near and dear to people's hearts. And anytime that I can make little critters, that's really fun too. So
Aw.
Those are some of my favorites.
That's awesome. Is there a particular critter that you're more fond of making than others? Like, do you prefer doing like a dog as opposed to a cat, or are you just happy to make whatever furry creature?
Well, I am a little biased. I am a dog person. I have a dog, but I love all of them, and I think it's really fun.
Aw, I love that you're open to doing those types of things. You know what I mean? Some people are not open to doing animals or making a cookie of their friend because they're just like, so I love that
it
you're
might not
open.
turn out like that.
It's like one of those bad tattoos that you see where they're like, this is my mom, and the face is like sloth, and you're just like, oh no.
Like a Pinterest fail.
Yes, a Pinterest fail. Oh my goodness. Now, you don't only work in cake and fondant, but you also, and obviously sugar, but you also work with chocolate. And I'm kicking myself for not getting a picture of this, but when you did Spooky Empire a little while back in April, you did a chocolate Ouija board and planchette.
Yes.
Girl. They were phenomenal. Oh my goodness. How long does something like that take to get that? Because, I mean, they were detailed. Like, you had the numbers, you had everything in there. The planchette had, like, the eye cut out. I mean, that was some serious detail you had there.
Thank you. Well, I can't give away all my secrets about what I do, but yeah, the chocolate work, I really enjoy doing. Like I said, when I do the little details and everything, it really brings it out. I put a luster on it to make it shiny, kind of metallic looking. The hardest part about working with chocolate not only is, the tempering process of making the chocolate, but we live in Florida and it's very hot, it's very humid
all the time.
The scariest part is transporting any kind of chocolate because I'm afraid it's going to melt, especially in the Florida heat and the Florida sun.
Yes.
So I do my best with what we've got here, but yeah, it's kind of scary to do chocolate work here in Florida.
I was gonna say, like, that's you gotta have nerves of steel to be able to be like, all right, I'm gonna make this chocolate thing, and then not only am I gonna make it, but I'm gonna transport it like 20
right.
30 minutes away, so hopefully it stays. And they do, and they're amazing. So girl, just I don't have words to tell you how beautiful that planchette and that Ouija board was, because they were amazing. And actually, I think I might have a picture of a planchette that I got with you in there at Spooky and some guy.
Yes.
So that's, for those of you that don't know, that is Corey Taylor of Slipknot.
Yeah.
So how did this happen? Because I saw your picture on Instagram, and I mean, although you guys are wearing masks, like that smile, like full on, like it's just pure happiness.
I was really nervous, and so I saw him, I think a couple years ago. I went to a Slipknot show, and I knew he was going to be at Spooky. And this is my first year that I've done vending here at Spooky. But usually I just attend. It's really fun. I enjoy it. But being a vendor is kind of a different experience. And so I saw him the first day. He was walking around. He was checking out all the vendors. And he came to my booth, and I was so nervous. Like, I was kind of like shaking, and I didn't know how to talk to him appropriately without being like kind of a weirdo about it,
like going full fangirl.
Yeah, so my sister was there vending with me, and she was like, oh my gosh, she could tell that I was like almost like sweating. I was freaking out. So he was really cool, really humble, really nice. He made sure that he went to each one of the vendor tables, and he purchased something from all of the artists there, which was really awesome. And
oh, wow.
He bought some of my treats to take home for him and his wife, and it was really cool meeting him. So aww. I'm really glad I got that experience, and I can't say that any other Spooky Empire has topped that one so far.
Now, are you planning to do Spooky's October show or any other events?
I am. It was so awesome. Like I said, I've always attended, but I've never been a vendor there. So being a vendor for this first time was really exciting for me. And it went so well. And not only did I meet a bunch of people that were really cool, vendors, customers, clients, we all have that kind of same spooky state of mind.
Yes.
So I met some really cool people, and it was an awesome experience. I really can't wait for October. It's going to be fun. And I'm brainstorming of like really cool stuff that I'm going to have that's going to be new this year.
Yay.
That I didn't bring to the one
the spring show
just had. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. So now I know where I'm getting my sugar fix all weekend.
Right. Come to my booth.
Exactly. I'll be living at your booth. Don't mind me. It's fine.
I saw some repeat offenders. So you get them the first day with the chocolate, and then every day after that, they keep coming back for more.
So let me tell you, we stopped by and we picked up some of the cake pops, which you were kind enough to... Yes. We've got some here, which I'm very excited. I've had them and the Oreos, and they're amazing, and I'm going to have to walk 10 miles when I'm done with these. But we went by and we picked up, I had your cake pops, and I took one bite, and what black magic do you use when you make them? Because they are so perfectly, like, I don't want to say dense, but just like moist and flavorful, and it's not crumbly. It's like, it's the perfect bite. It really is. Like,
it's witchcraft.
there is all kinds of witchcraft in there, and it is like, oh girl, it's magic. If any of you guys are going to Spooky and get the chance, stop by her booth. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. Just buy something. It's so tasty and delicious, and I'm very excited that you're coming back. That's awesome news.
Yeah. I usually have a variety of sweets, different flavors, different styles, different quantities. So if you want a little bit or you want a lot, I got you.
Nice. Now, you also... you had mentioned a little while ago with tempering the chocolate and how sometimes it's difficult to make certain things because Florida, and as we all know, it's always hot here. Do you have a bake that you've done that's been like the most difficult thing?
I would say anytime you're replicating something like the baby Sinclair cake, and you want to get it spot on, and you know that it's going to be recognizable. Like you said, you don't want it to look, like that Pinterest fail. So I'd say that was one of the more difficult cakes that I've done. But along the way, I just think that the more cakes I make and the longer that I do it, the more I grow, things get easier and easier for me to do. So nothing's too difficult.
Now, how long have you been doing this for?
I graduated pastry school in, I want to say 2009. It's been so long. I've had my whole career, I've worked as a baker. I was baking bread. I've worked in a chocolate store before. I was a cake decorator for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
I've always had a position in, baking and pastry. And most recently, I worked at the Waldorf Astoria on the pastry team. Ooh. And I had to step down as of recently from full-time to part-time in order to take on more orders because I just have so many people who want beautiful spooky cakes and treats from me, and I want to be able to make them for you guys. So I'm stepping down at work full-time to part-time just so I could be able to make more stuff from home and do events and stuff like that.
Now, are you wanting to do, of course, Bertsos full-time?
That is an end goal for me. I do see myself having my own bakery one day, a physical shop that people can visit. Right now, obviously, it's just pickup or delivery only. So, if people want sweets, they could always message me. But for right now, I don't have a physical store. But what's better than chilling at home and, calling me up and then I deliver your sweets at your door, like everyone loves.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Everyone loves food delivery.
Now, are you currently taking orders right now for cakes and cake pops and things? And
I am, I think. Sorry.
Oh, no, after you.
I think that the sooner the better for orders.
Okay.
Usually at least 2 weeks notice is really good, but I book up quickly. And then also I'm only one person, so I can only do so much. I can only take on so much. I would love to do all of the orders, but sometimes I have to say no just because I have too much on my plate. So like I said, if you know you want something, go ahead and send me a message or an email, and I'll reach out to you and let you know if I have that date available. But definitely sooner the better.
Now, your cake pops and your chocolate covered Oreos and your
Mm-hmm.
cookies and your other wonderful treats. Some of those are available here locally too, aren't they?
Yes, Prometheus, the oddity shop in Winter Park. Whitney and Adam, I love them. They're amazing. I was going to their shop for quite some time to check out all of their goodies. I love oddity stuff. I love collecting, like my little skeleton here, that's from them.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, so they were opening up their store, their bigger store,
Mm-hmm.
and I reached out to them to see if they wanted to get some of my spooky sweets, and they said yes. They're very sweet, and shouts out.
All the love to Adam. I love Adam and
Adam
Whitney.
and Whitney.
They're some of my favorite people in the whole wide world. I harass them probably on a weekly basis at the shop because they're close to me. So my husband and I always go there and buy new things
Perfect.
and pick up things. So I saw your
Exactly.
treats there and I was like, wait a minute. I know those. Those are amazing. So I was very happy to see that not only do you do custom orders directly, but you're also offering those in Prometheus Esoterica. So if someone is in there shopping and they have them in stock, obviously, they can pick
Yes.
up a tasty treat and have some coffee while they look for a new skeleton or
Yeah, it's perfect.
fake teeth or
Shopping, sweets.
whatever. It kind of goes hand in hand, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, now let's see. Oh, I've got some other really fun cakes that you did. Let's take a look because this one so far is probably one of my favorites because it's
Yes.
just it's this beautifully classy black and
Yes.
gold cake.
It's elegant goth.
Yes.
Yes. Those are some of my favorites too, you know, kind of like an elevated, beautiful design, but also dark and creepy at the same time. That's my flow.
Was
That's my
this one
style.
done for a particular occasion?
Yes, Lexi. I love you, Lexi. She ordered this for her anniversary, and so I love to make that for her.
That's awesome. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, there's so much little things, like down to the little skulls, and that
Yeah.
is that lace work? That looks like.
Yeah, it's a beautiful kind of like a stone pattern.
That is ridiculous. In the best way possible. It's so pretty. Now, doing something like that, what's the difficulty level on doing that type of lace work? 'Cause, I mean, that is some serious detail.
It all depends. Sometimes I have a lot of tools that can help me make things easier. Sometimes things are all piped by hand. So it just really depends on the design and the style that you're going for. But yeah, I usually do work in fondant. I do chocolate work. I do buttercream cakes. So really, whatever you're looking for, I could create something cool for you, no matter what you need.
Do you have a favorite? Like, do you prefer to work in fondant or chocolate or buttercream, or are you just happy with all of it?
That's a good question. So for buttercream, I love making flowers, buttercream flowers, chrysanthemums being my favorite to do, just because you could create like such a cool, like open design. So I really love that aspect of buttercream that allows you to kind of like mix the colors together and do that. With fondant, I would say the modeling aspect of that, being able to create like little miniatures or cake toppers. I don't know. I love all of it. I have no favorites. I love all of it.
Oh, see that makes me so happy. So you're not biased. You love all the things.
Right.
Now there's a couple of other cakes I wanted to show off that you've done, and this one, like the detail on this next cake is it's a shoe. It's a shoe.
Yes.
I'm going to preface with that one. But you've got down to the stitching and all the little itty bitty details in that. I mean, it's insanely well done, and it's almost maddening looking at it, and I'm trying to imagine you creating something like this, and I'm so just in awe of how detailed you were able to get all the little things in this cake.
Thank you. Yes, many hours of being hunched over in my kitchen, working on those tiny details to make sure I get them right. And there's so many different like cool techniques or cool tools that you can use to get those textures, those little details that you need to. So yeah, I love all of it. I love those tiny details. I think those really make the design pop. It makes it look realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you feel like you could just put your foot right in that shoe.
Oh, absolutely. Like, again, it's a cake that doesn't look like it's a cake.
Right.
Like, if that was sitting somewhere, I'd be like, oh, somebody's shoe. Why is there a shoe on the table? Okay, then, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, some people told me when they saw it in their feed when I posted it that they just thought it was an ad for a shoe, that they didn't even realize that it was that it was me posting a picture of a cake. And that's the best compliment, really.
Now, okay, I have to ask, what kind of shoe is that modeled after?
It's an Air Force.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the brand, so I was kind of curious if you were just kind of looking at different shoes, kind of doing a mix and match, or if there was a specific one.
It's a 4 bread, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's pretty awesome.
Air Jordan.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Sneaker people don't. I'm sorry if I'm wrong.
Okay. Sneaker people are very picky people. I'm just saying. You gotta be careful. Like, certain people are picky about their shoes. Have you done like a woman's shoe, like a heel or anything as well?
I have done that, and those are. I mean, I have a real shoe problem, so I love shoes. So if anyone wants me to make like a high heel cake, I would love to do that. I've done one before. I probably don't have a picture. It was a really long time ago, but yeah. If anyone wants a shoe cake, hit me up.
Let's see here. I've got a couple of more just to kind of showcase here. This one is adorable. Obviously, Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorites. I love this cake.
Too.
Yay! I love the cake. I love the splatter effect. I love little.
Yeah.
I think
as matching.
Little Zero is probably my favorite thing. I love Jack too, but that Zero is so the movement that you got in him.
Yeah. And I used a tiny little sprinkle for his little pumpkin nose. I had to set that little sprinkle on there. So yeah, he's my favorite too, I would say, out of.
That's amazing. Now, was that also a commission, or were you just like, I'm making it because I want to make it?
That was actually, I was helping out a friend. She has a bakery. Her name is Jackie, out in Colorado. And so those were little cake toppers that I created, and I sent them her way for her to put on a cake. So if I can help out my friends, I do my best.
That's awesome. It's so cute. Yeah. I do. I love it so much. Now, you've also got some amazing cookies. I've had your cookies. I've had your cake pops. Yeah. I've had your... Oh, what did I get from you? The
chocolate Oreos?
Chocolate Oreos, but I also had the... I can't think of it. The hot cocoa bombs.
Oh, yes. Those were really popular this year.
Are you going to be bringing those back? Because those are amazing.
That's a good question. Because... there were a lot of people who wanted them last year, and I think that if the demand for them is still, I might have to do like a poll or something on my Instagram to see, you know, how many people want them again this year. But I think they're really popular. They're really fun.
Yes. They're delicious.
Who doesn't love to play with their food? Yeah, who doesn't love to play with their food? So yeah, I most likely will have them again this year. So
awesome. So if you guys are not yet doing so, I'm just saying, make sure that you're following Stephanie on Instagram and on Facebook. So when she does pop that poll up, vote yes, because I would like to see them come back, because they were delicious and lots of fun. I'm just saying, they were good. So make sure you're following her on all the social medias. I've got quite a few people in the chat being chatty, which is always nice. A couple people saying that you're gonna end up selling out at Spooky.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
They're not wrong. Well, I was going to ask you about that because I know you did well at the spring show. So were you having to like go back home and bake and then come back the next day?
Oh my gosh, yes. I was so tired. I was so tired because it was my first year and I didn't really know the quantity for sure that I was going to need.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to make too much. I didn't want to make too little. Right. So I made what I thought would be good, and it was for the most part. But yes, I still had to go home at night and bake some more, and I stayed up late with my sister. Thank you, Angie, for helping me. And we worked on making enough for the next day. So I will be more prepared this year, and I'll have enough for everyone, so no worries about that.
Well, I think it's always tough too, especially if you're a first-time vendor at a show and you're not you don't really have anything to judge how well you're gonna do. So you're like, all right, if I make 50 cookies and then 50 cake pops, like we'll kind of see, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to go home and bake now because I am out of stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, we had some repeat offenders. So the people that had a taste the first day would come back and get it the second day, the third day. So I'm very thankful for everyone who purchases my stuff and continues to come back and buy more. So I will definitely have stuff for all you guys when you want to come pick up some treats at Spooky.
Well, you definitely make it easy because they are delicious. I will say. So yes, and I will be frequenting your table. And somebody, a couple people in the chat haunting saying you should just bring an Easy Bake Oven with you, and then you can just plug it in on the floor and just do some baking that way. Jesus,
create them while I'm at the booth.
Right? Just like, all right, what are you fresh? Here you go. Like, too bad they don't have ovens in their hotel rooms. Like, how nice would that be?
I need a little hot light sign that I could turn on when they come out.
It's like the donut sign, but it just says cookies, and then you just pop it up, and they're fresh and ready to go.
Hot cookies. I will not be having this.
No, this is not actually happening.
This is real.
No, we're just making things up right now. This is not actually happening. Just so you know, there is no live baking happening at Spooky. It's just a fun thought. I'm just saying. Have you thought about doing the cocoa bombs and bringing them to Spooky as well?
Maybe if people want it. I think that
I think it would definitely be a hit. And my husband's in the chat, like, throwing all kinds of crazy ideas out. He's like, do some skull ones and do like white chocolate and coconut and all these things. Honey, I love you. Just stop it.
Too many ideas.
He has all the ideas and a major sweet tooth, which I both love and hate. But I think I think a Cocoa Bombs would do well, because I know they did a show in December and someone brought them and they sold out and they were like done for the day. So I mean, I think that those would do pretty well also.
Yeah, October it'll get a little cooler out and maybe people will want to be making some hot cocoa treats.
It'll be like 75, Florida cold.
Yeah. That's definitely cold for me.
It's so weird how we think of that as being chilly, but meanwhile people up north are like, that's hot. And we're like, no, it's not. It's not at all.
Not for us.
Now, all right, so if anybody wants to hit you up, do you prefer Facebook or Instagram? Or email? Like, what is your preferred method of contact?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. You can reach out through my email. My email's attached to that. Okay. That's probably an easy way to get a hold of me. I try and check those as frequently as possible and respond as soon as possible. If it takes me a little while to get back to you, just know I'm sorry. It takes me a little time. So
she's one person.
I'm one person.
Have some patience.
I'm the whole team.
Aww. Now, I do have to ask a couple of other questions that I always tend to ask everyone, because these are my favorites, and this also helps me get to know a little bit about you without like being like, what's your sign? Because that's just stupid. What is your favorite Halloween candy? Do you have one?
Okay, I would say I really like Twix and Kit Kats.
Yes.
I don't know if that's kind of boring.
No, it's
chocolate.
not. It's not at all.
I love chocolate, so I would say those two are really good. And then probably something sweet, like a tangy or a sour. I don't know.
Those would be good.
Or Skittles. I love Skittles too. I don't know.
Skittles are good.
I love everything. I would say chocolate. Chocolate first.
Anything chocolate, and it's good. I'm a Twix fan myself, so I appreciate that. Anytime we get like a mixed bag, I go through and I pull out all the Twix and I put them aside. Even if we're like, especially on Halloween when we're doing all the candy, I immediately just pull all the Twix out because I'm like, no, those are staying here. I'm keeping them.
You're supposed to share those, but I don't.
No, there's no. I mean, there may be 2 in that little packet, or if you get the teeny one and it's just like a half a one, it's not enough to share.
No. I agree.
Now, you're a fan of the spooky things, and I'm assuming horror as well. Do you have a favorite horror movie?
I would say my favorite is going to be Silence of the Lambs.
It's so good.
Only because I feel like that was one of the first like really creepy, spooky, scary movies that I saw like growing up. I probably watched it when I was really young. I don't remember how young, but it's so well done. It's so creepy. Like I love anything that could be real, you know?
Yes.
Like I much prefer watching like really creepy documentaries and stuff that like, you know, it happened. It could happen.
Yes. I'm the same way. I love a true crime. I mean, but I also love the Silence of the Lambs type movies where it's got that killer and you're not quite sure what's like Seven. Seven was kind of like along those lines as well, where you had that killer that was just offing people, and that's something that could legit happen.
Yeah.
You know, not to say Freddy's not real, but
yeah,
Freddy's not real.
It's still good.
It's still phenomenal. So that's awesome. All right, so we've got Silence of the Lambs and then chocolate in general.
Yeah.
Is there a candy that you don't like?
Ooh.
Is there that one candy that you think about it and you're just like, oh no. No.
I want to say like old people candy, like.
But what is old people candy? What is like a Werther's original? Is that like an old people candy?
Werther's caramels.
Oh my god. You just made me feel so old because I'm
sorry.
I love a Werther's. I love a Werther's so much, and it's my grandfather. My grandfather used to give them to me as a kid, and they were like one of my favorite things, but he was also one of my favorite people, so it reminds me of him, so I have that attachment. So I do like some old people candy.
No offense.
None taken. I understand that thought. I can't see. I would have thought that you'd have been like, well, black licorice, because that's usually the one that everybody's just like, they make that face where it's like, no.
That too. I didn't think of that, but you know, I don't know. I thought of caramels first.
Caramels are amazing. Got lots of people in the chat complimenting your work and how amazing the cakes look. A few people said that the cocoa bombs were awesome last winter. Vernon Johnson, awesome. Thank you. Quite a few people. So are fans of your cakes, and if you guys are looking to get a custom cake or cookies or any type of treat, make sure that
dessert.
Yes, all the desserts. Make sure that you hit Stephanie up on her pages. Let's pop these up again for you guys, Facebook and Instagram, and make sure you're following her if you haven't, because your 4th of July cookies. I will say I did not pick those to show, but if you go to her Instagram and her Facebook page, you will see those 4th of July cookies.
Oh man,
those were amazing.
I love my job. I get to create some really fun stuff.
I'm assuming those were for a client. They were like, listen, this is what I need. I need, and for those, okay, listen, go watch it anyway, but they were dick cookies. And they had sprinkles, and they were just amazing. And I wanted to eat them. I said it, sounds weird, but they looked amazing. So you've created all different types of cookies, from peanuts cookies to, you've done some like marijuana leaves, some pumpkins, some bats, some really cool stuff. So make sure that you guys hit her up. Is it safe to say that you can do pretty much anything, really?
Anything. I don't want to say it, but yeah, maybe I can.
Almost. Sky is almost the limit, within reason, I would say.
Right? Yeah.
So make sure that you guys hit her up quickly. All right. So my sister popped in. She's got a question, and it's a good question, so I'm going to ask it.
Yes.
Do you prefer using buttermilk or coffee to enhance your chocolate cakes, or do you use neither?
Oh, well, I feel like that would be giving away some secrets if I did.
It's none of your business, little sister.
Maybe I can't tell.
All right, I'm going to put that in that's none of your business category and figure it out for yourself. Just saying.
Secrets. Gotta keep secrets.
Well, I mean, I think you have to, because there's, you don't want somebody going back and being like, well, she does it, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Because you need something that separates you out. So I think that secrets in this case are definitely acceptable.
Well, imitation is the best form of flattery, so they could try.
But it's probably not going to taste as good. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and chatting with me and letting us kind of get to know you and share with some of the folks at home some of your bakes that you've done. I know I've got the husband's birthday is coming up, so I'm going to be hitting you up for his cake.
Yes, I would love that. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And everybody that's watching, thank you guys so much for tuning in and chatting and being positive as always in the chat. And again, make sure that you're following Stephanie on Instagram and on the Facebook. And are you on Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter.
Don't. It's the devil.
I'm not a tweeter.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
Instagram is enough for me sometimes. So I post on Instagram. I say if I'm going to be at an event on there.
Okay.
So most of my information is there, but you could also find it on Facebook. Okay. I'll post any events I'm doing, or when I restock at Prometheus, you'll know when I drop off some fresh goodies there. You could always stop by and pick some up.
Now, do you have any upcoming events, speaking of which?
Just Spooky. Just Spooky is the only thing on my calendar for right now.
Okay.
In October, so I'm really excited about that. I'm going to have to do a lot of preparation, so I think that's enough for me to handle from now until then, because I have quite a few orders in the meantime, so I'll do my best.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. Thank you, everybody that's watching. If you have not subscribed on the YouTube channel, make sure that you do that. The replay will be up on YouTube by tomorrow. So if you guys missed any of the interview, you can go back and give it a watch. So thank you again, Stephanie. I appreciate you so much. And thank you guys for watching. Until next time, everybody, keep it spooky. Bye.
Bye.